I welcome you with all my heart. I just feel so much love for our Sangha and everyone in it, even those I don't know would have come here to partake. I can feel their energy mixed in with everybody else's. And I send love to you all. And to Stevie's butterfly with the busted wings. And to Gypsy. And to Kali, who's not here right now, licking my head. I had a generic talk prepared today. There's so much confusion in spirituality and what the various techniques are all about, what they're looking for. And I can give it. But I'd say for myself and for those of you who are searching for love or can find love, the best practice is loving as deeply as possible, listening to chanting music as often as possible, sitting quietly and feeling everything about you, your legs, your heart, your breathing, your face. And then wait for that love that you've been waiting for your entire life. And wait some more. Maybe ask God to send him or her to you. For it is in human love when it becomes intense enough that it becomes divine love. And when it becomes divine love, all kinds of remarkable things happen. You are exposed to the love of God, which manifests as grace, the descent of golden-colored grace, which washes away all your sins and all the mistakes you think you've made in life. And listen to chanting music. Krishna Das, Nityananda, Muktananda's successor, old Muktananda tapes if you can get a hold of them. Find the brand of chanting you like best and have it going in your house several hours a day. And sometimes just sit with it and let the music sink into you. And if you're feeling lonely because you have not found your beloved yet, know that that yearning you have for love, either divine or human, is the one true string to follow that will bring you to both God realization and self-realization. Consists of chanting, sacred music, yearning for love, searching for love, coming to satsang, reading the posts on my Facebook page, listen to some old satsangs on YouTube, immerse yourself in love. Surround yourself with love. Practice love. Like Stevie is doing with the butterfly with broken wings, or with your cat, especially when your cat is ill and you worry and worry and worry about them. Be human. Be vulnerable. Feel the loneliness. Feel your loneliness. Feel your loneliness for companionship. Feel your loneliness for God, whatever that means to you. Because this kind of spirituality is all about relationship. You and that special other, your beloved. You and God, separate yet one at the same time. This is not a non-dual philosophy. This isn't Zen. This isn't Buddhism. This isn't Advaita. It's dualistic. You are a separate mind, body, and spirit incarnated in that body. And as a whole spirit, learn to love with all your heart that which is at hand. And if you don't have it yet, wait for it and yearn for it. Cry for it. And he or she will come. You may wait a long time. But when she or he does come, your heart catches fire. You feel your heart actually literally leaving your body and joining with the heart of another. And then when the love reaches a certain maturity, you wish to bow to her feet or his feet. All that you can think of is lying down side by side, holding hands, or lying spoon style with your arms around that person. And love of that person eventually grows into divine love of that person. You're no longer loving her as a person, but as spirit, divine spirit. You see deeply into her and you see this very fair, elegant, angel-like or goddess-like spirit that rests so gently upon her soul. I'm speaking this way instead of saying him and her all the time. You want to touch her face. You want to touch her ears. You want to touch her hair. You want to lie next to her and see if you can feel her heart beating with yours in time. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else that's important. Not even enlightenment. Nothing is important. Because this truly is enlightenment. This love where human love becomes transformed into divine love. And your whole body is possessed, electric, by her. And when you walk together, there's nobody else in the world. Only you two, who have become one. And together you listen to divine music, and to feel the presence of God within and without. All the other spiritual practices, for all intents and purposes, are only visual exercises. They're reading the texts and visualizing what that means to your mind, who doesn't know the experience the texts are pointing to. And having this strong focus on vision means that in the end, what you will find is the emptiness of space-time and the light of consciousness. The light of consciousness because the visual sense is energized, the whole third eye area, and you begin to see the light of consciousness. And space because space is the essential fabric of the world and of ourselves. Objective space, the space between me and the wall, me and Mars, you and Mars. And you could say time, but time is not really important. And you discover emptiness, the void. And in the void, there's nothing. You don't know, no longer exist. Your body no longer exists. You're only consciousness, which is everywhere. But anytime an object appears in that consciousness, which is moving, you identify with it. Whether it is a bird flying overhead or the wind blowing through the trees, or somebody's radio 2 rooms away. That which moves in your field of consciousness becomes identified with because you don't exist anymore. The stillness prolonged makes the manifest go away. A very, very still body with no eyelids moving, no muscle switching. Eventually the mind disappears. And all that there is one consciousness. There are no objects. It's just emptiness until something makes a sound or a movement or a motion in that emptiness. And then it's recognized and you feel like it's it. You're it. That's your identity. And you can play with this for years. The entire koan system in Zen explains it and deepens this understanding. But then one day, after all this, you say to your teacher, is this all that there is? This emptiness? This light? Explosion of light in you? Isn't there anything else? Is there no room for love here? Is there no room for sex here? Is there no room to worship another here? Is there no room to bow to your beloved and for both of you to fall into each other's arms? Do you know, for some people, they will never, ever experience it. And that's a lot of people, a large percentage of people will never love this deeply. And therefore they pick spiritual disciplines, which will keep them away from the entanglements of love and will prevent them from becoming self-realized of the manifest self, the explosive, energetic self in yourself and God. And they will be confined to finding nirvana. They will be confined to finding the light of consciousness and emptiness. No objects will mean anything to them. And they'll listen to Robert, who says, ignore the world. Pay no attention to your own problems. Pay no attention to your body because it's not real. So in this emptiness, the only reality you feel is real is the void, the emptiness. Objects appear in it and disappear from it. And when they first appear, you identify with them. And then when you get used to them, you no longer pay them any heed. So you become a Buddhist monk. And Sasaki Roshi tells you, as he told me, there is no love in Zen. As a matter of fact, there is no love in Buddhism. There is no love in Advaita, although they may use the word from time to time to express the kind of feelings they may feel in the true emptiness state. But yes, you'll find the absence of love after a while if you're sensitive to be abhorrent, something to escape. Then you'll go to somebody like Muktananda, or Ed Musica, or Tantra, and begin fooling around with love as a, what do you call it? As a way of knowing and becoming enlightened. But the Tantra you'll learn here in America and most places is totally involved with desire and sex and transmuting sexual pleasure into energy, Shakti, taming the desires, using love to tease out pleasure that becomes extraordinary because that's the only moving thing is the pleasure. And you identify with that in the stillness. But to me, Tantra misses the point. It's like it has an essential truth to it, but it misses the point. It formulates and puts in a kind of bed, a precrustian bed, what love should be and how it's to be experienced, rather than to let it flame out of control like it should. Tantra teachers know that energy is a very important tool, and they teach you to raise energies in yourself using sex or other things, visualizations of the Kundalini going from chakra to chakra, or the chi going from one center to another along the nadis or along the different kinds of systems of transport of the various energies that are in you, and there are many different kinds. And then you may mess around with being a healer for a while because the energies have your attention and you think those energies can heal. You read books about it, how your energy resonates with another's. And because you have healthy energy, they tune into it and become healthy because their body feels the tuning into your health. It's magic. I don't know whether that's truth or not, but that's what it feels like for many people. And their whole life becomes obsessed with healing others, even when their healings don't work. Even when they're considered master healers of animals and humans, but their own dogs and cats die, just like anybody else's, no matter what you do in terms of healing. But those who mess around with energies can develop great power. They can change people. They can develop great crowds. They can attract people. But because they're attracting so many people, you know what they have to offer is really worthless in the end. Because that which will attract a lot of people does not go very deep. Robert never had more than 35 people come to satsang. And that was on Sunday, the busy day. And on Thursday night was where he went much deeper. There'd be 12 or 14. And near the end, before he left for Sedona, there was maybe 16 or 17. You can listen to Robert's satsangs, but he's a non-dualist. He doesn't believe in you. He doesn't believe you exist. He doesn't believe in the world. He doesn't believe he teaches. All you'll find with him is emptiness and a peace that after a while gets boring and unfulfilling. So, I want you to take this as absolute truth. You really are not your body. You are your spirit. Call it consciousness. Call it awareness. Call it Atman. You are that which is listening to me right now. That cognizes me and what I have to say. That hears me. And may agree or disagree with me. Or who feels moved by my voice. Feels some movement in their heart. Some movement in their sense of presence. Some movement in their energy field. When I try to transmit bliss to all of you. So that you know that I'm not shitting around. This stuff is for real. Sometimes I do that deliberately through most of the session. It's just to get you to feel the energies, rather than to listen to the words about spirituality. But you may not think, following the path of love, that you're making much progress if you don't have a partner. But that yearning for that love, the boiling in your heart and in your gut, thinking about past loves, or how Ed must feel love, or Angela, or Rolf, or anybody else. What is that experience like? That's the kind of question you should ask. What is real love like? What is divine love like? And it can be described in terms of all kinds of exceptional terms: ecstatic, bliss, enraptured, like a divine wind blowing through my heart, like the hairs standing up on my back because of the ecstasy I feel. But nothing I say can really convey what it feels like to feel ecstatic unless I can give it to you by direct transmission through my intent for you to have it, by broadcasting my energies, and about speaking about what it's like. But truly, you have to find out for yourself. Those of you who are gifted in this path will easily find another love. But then each new time, it becomes a new adventure with new problems, new losses, new pain, new pleasures, new deep kinds of rests inside of the other. With Janet, I came because she came for me. She was sent by God for me. She loved me for many months, many couple of years before she ever contacted me. And then she came with an iPad that had a Rumi poem on it. I have looked for your face since time immemorial, something like that. And now I found you. And it goes on and on like that. As a matter of fact, when I first built my website, I recorded it now for you to listen to. From the beginning of my life, I have been looking for your face. But today I have seen it. Today I have seen the charm, the beauty, and the unfathomable grace of the face I have been looking for. Today I have found you. And those who laughed and scorned me yesterday are sorry they were not looking as I did. I am bewildered by the magnificence of your beauty and wish to see you with 100 eyes. My heart is burned with passion and has searched forever for this wondrous beauty I now behold. I am ashamed to call this love human and afraid of God to call it divine. Your fragrant breath, like the morning breeze, has come to the stillness of the garden. You have breathed new life into me. I have become your sunshine and also your shadow. My soul is screaming in ecstasy. Every fiber of my being is in love with you. Your effulgence has lit a fire in my heart. For me, the earth and sky. My arrow of love has arrived at the target. I am in the house of mercy, and my heart is a place of prayer. So, imagine you're sitting in the car with her, sitting by the ocean, and she recites that to you. And then it's quiet. And then she starts having orgasms. Not loud, but just the feeling of your energy field. The feeling of your responding love. The feeling of your presence. lights up all of her chakras at once. It looks like a sexual orgasm, but every chakra in her body is stimulated and awakened. And she has whole body orgasms with her heart, her mind, her head, her stomach. Throughout her whole being is this ecstasy that overwhelms her and calls her to cry out in pleasure. It's the highest pleasure you can perceive in life, but it's sort of a stimulus kind of thing. It's attached to the real love, but itself can become an object of pursuit when what you really want is to lie next to your beloved forever, to hold her, to serve her, to touch her hair, to touch her face, to touch her ear, and to repeat over and over again, I love you, I love you, I love you. And to watch her feel that exquisite happiness throughout her being. And you're both bowing to God in your own mind at this time. God is present. You're both bowed not only to each other, but to the life force in each other. When I met Janet for the third time, she was having a class with a Sufi in a California city. And we were to meet afterwards. And I got into the suite ahead of her. And when she came to the door, I opened it. I took hold of her hands and pulled her into the room and closed the door. Then I dropped to my knees and then to the ground, grabbing her feet and kissing them. I was the happiest person in the world then, kissing my beloved's feet. Years later, with Dia sitting on a couch, I felt moved to get up from my chair, to crawl over on my knees and hands to where she was, just touch her feet, then lay on the ground, kissing her feet. I must have stayed there for 15 minutes without moving. Later, we did all kinds of energetic things together, sitting next to each other in exquisite power, where there's no movement at all. Just feeling red hot power, embracing both of us. Or feeling the Shakti coming out of her head, like 100 little tornadoes. And I felt them above her head. I literally felt them like electricity. I was shocked. I didn't know it was possible. But more than anything else, sitting with her, I felt the descent of enormous godlike power that suffused both of us and never left me since then. it was then I had the power to project Shakti, to make people feel Shakti, to make the entire Sangha feel Shakti at the same time, with their acquiescence, of course, and their throwing in their own volition to share. Each of these loves lasted only a short time. Janet, maybe 3 years, because she said it was too intense and she had a life to live in the mundane world. So after me, she spent 6 years with other teachers, and they were very painful years where she felt trapped in love relationships with them, and they paid her no heed. Dia just totally disappeared, and she does that for years at a time before she comes back, because she's blown by the Shakti and never gets to choose what she has to do. So I've always looked for that quality in students. Somebody that can love so deeply as to throw themselves away and to join with God. Some of you here have that quality. Some, it will come to you. Some feel it very deeply, the power and the love. Does anyone have any questions or any comments?
Hi, Ed. It's Michael P.
Do you speak up, Michael?
Hi, hi, Ed. I just want to say thanks. It looks like you're resonating about 10 today from 1 and 10, and you divulged a lot of things in this satsang, and some of them on a level where it's got to be watched several times. Because there's a big message in it, and I feel like I have to see it a whole bunch of times to really absorb it. But thank you.
You're welcome, Michael. Is there anybody else? Stevie?
Most everything you said reminded me of Angela. And I love Angela, and I don't see her here. And I hope that she's all right wherever she is.
She said she felt overstimulated and she just needed to be in the quiet without a lot of voices, even mine. She's not doing all right. But tell me about your love for her.
It's it brings life. It brings life to life.
You did not feel alive before you saw her. She made you feel love for the first time, real love.
The deepest that I've ever felt in my entire life. And loving her somehow has put depth in everything on the planet. Everything I experience has the depth that she revealed to me.
Yeah.
The first moment that I heard her speak.
Yeah. And you didn't think I was much because I kept saying I loved everybody. But you saw she loved me, so you think, maybe he's got something.
Yeah,
Had nothing to do with me, it was all her.
I wasn't too sure about you. I think I'm more trusting of women than men.
I don't blame you. Anybody else?
Pranam, Edgy. This is Raju here.
Yes.
A very powerful discourse today. Actually, my daughter was next to me. She's a 4-year-old, and she was pestering to sit with me, so I didn't have a chance but to actually make her sit. And I'm glad she was able to hear your voice. I don't know what she's feeling inside, but she was able to hear your words as well. You laid an absolute truth today as to who we are, as a spirit. But the objective of what you have to is to experience divine love or the divine grace as the sort of dual objectives, or what you are meant for, uh, being what you are already as a spirit, and not
Could you
being
speak
able
a
to.
little louder? I can't hear you. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Is it better?
Yes.
uh, knowing the truth of who you are as a spirit, like you laid out, and experiencing love or the divine grace, um, as the dual objective, if you may call that. Knowing that these two are already there, but you are not experiencing it. Where is this ignorance, or whose is this ignorance? Is it of the mind, or the body, or the spirit, or the intellect? Who is actually needing to realize the truth, and who is actually needing to experience this truth as love and grace?
If I were to explain it, it would absolutely not help you at all, except to say, and it wouldn't help you get there. What you have to do is to dive inside and find who it is. And where you find that yearning inside of you, then you find you. It has nothing to do with knowing what the mind is and how to define it, or whether true you is consciousness, or whether it's awareness, or whether it's the Atman or God consciousness. Those are just words and concepts. You're just talking philosophy. What you have to know is to know it directly in your own experience by feeling that divine love, the yearning for love, the yearning for partnership, and going inside and finding it there, the root. That's to begin tasting and understanding who you really are. You are the one who smells, tastes, loves, walks, talks, thinks, smells. You are the recipient of all sense data. You are the decision maker. And your purest form, without thoughts, your divine intelligence. But really, that doesn't help you understand it except as understanding. And what you really have to do is become stupid as a rock, drop all that understanding about consciousness and the light of consciousness and all these other terms, and instead feel the root at the center of your being that makes you you, the ultimate source. And then out of that ultimate source, when you find the love of your life, can come forth an explosion of light and energy that also brings you God realization. And when you realize God, within a short period of time, you realize that thing you found in yourself is directly related to God as an instantiation of that God principle in your body. You have become incarnated God, but still in communion with God the Father or God the Holy Ghost or whatever you want to say it, with the universal life force. That's as simply and clearly as I can put it. Anything else is just philosophy. You go on and on with beautiful words and descriptive words about ecstasy and beauty and divine will and all the other kind of shit. And now you're starting to masturbate. Veselina, have you anything to say?
Well, I guess I have since you asked me.
What?
I guess I have since you asked me. I worry I think about Angela.
So do I.
And I feel happy to be here. I like very much that song today.
Good.
Usually I always like it, but yeah, it's very genuine atmosphere.
Good for you. I'll tell you a little more about Angela. She is like disappearing before my eyes. So at this point, her spiritual practice has taken hold of her and is running her and is making her withdraw. She can't stand noise, crowds, people talking, incursions of the mundane world. And she feels a lot of terror, fear, and which is possibly due to getting close to death of the ego. Like with not Krishnamurti, but Ramana felt terror that he was dying. He could feel it coming on. And when he died, his sense of self was replaced by a full-blown understanding that he was the life force that was constantly churning, constantly doing things, constantly in motion. And he could never take his eyes off of it from there on. He, whoever he was fixated on his self as the energy at the center of his being, as the life force at the center of his being. This could be a profoundly terrifying experience for some. But I trust the process in Angela to take care of her now, although I wish there was somebody in our Sangha that could be with her in the Netherlands. I think she would really appreciate somebody just sitting in stillness with her while she goes through what she's going through. Michael K. Do you have anything to say? I guess not. Mari, welcome. One of your rare visits. Do you have anything to say?
Thank you.
What a smile you have.
Thank you, Ed.
Tell us about what you're feeling now.
It's wonderful to be here. And I'm feeling I'm feeling a lot in my arms right now.
Energies?
Yes.
Do they go out to the hands?
Actually, it feels like a lot of things that have been stuck here are starting to move.
Uh-huh.
Like something about love, daring to allow the love all the way out and give it to the world, maybe.
Mari, I love you. Just feel
I
it.
love you.
Just feel it. Feel from heart to heart the energies of love in me reaching out to your heart, welcoming you, just sort of tapping your heart. Feel the energies in your arms. Feel the energies move down from your shoulders into your forearms and into your hands. Put your hands close together and feel the energies between them. It becomes like a dynamo. And you begin to feel the power of the energies inside of you to both heal and to harm. Keep coming, please. Please.
I will.
Vladimir and Lilia, are you enlightened yet? You've been here a month now. Do you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah. We enjoyed to be here. And about power, I feel in my chest lots of power. I don't know what it's doing, but I feel like a vibration and current in all my body. And it's just like a shaking and shaking. Something too much white light and too much power inside my
Good.
chest.
That's so fantastic. I love that. Good. That's the life force. That's will be known in the future to you as God and as your own self, as separate but together.
Yeah, thank you.
What about you, Lilia? Is it Lilia? Yeah. What do you feel?
I really like to be here.
What?
I like to be at satsang. Just enjoy it.
You always talk so much?
Almost.
Yeah.
And did you get email from me that I was talking about energy work, a book by Robert Bruce?
Yes, I returned it. I sent you a reply.
Okay, I didn't receive it though. I'll check it.
And I said, work like that cannot possibly hurt you, but I recommend instead that book by Richard Gordon from Quantum Touch.
I think those exercises in Quantum Touch were, I think, borrowed from this book.
Oh.
This is earlier than the Quantum Touch.
Okay.
But yeah, I came across that book, his methods long ago. But recently I found it, the whole book. I felt like the similarities between Quantum Touch and this book and thought it's good to do or not. I don't know exactly.
Yes, it is good to play with those energies. You see, I look at energies, the felt energies, Shakti, as being the voice of God. It's how we communicate with that which is deeper, the life force. Shakti is not, the energies are not God himself. They're the voice of God, the expression of God. The way that God communicates with us and we communicate with him is with the energies. So you can't help but make advances by working with the energies unless you get too distracted into doing things with the energies like healing and so forth, and that becomes your sole focus. Your sole focus is to find God. The energies are only one route to them. But I've noticed you've been losing a lot of weight. The Shakti's buzzing in you now.
Yeah, I want to do this one so I can escape from my head.
Yeah,
Not that I'm fond of energies or anything, but I just want to stay outside of head in that stillness.
yes. I have found that brandy works wonders in getting out of your head.
I stopped it about in 2007, so I can't go back.
Okay. Now, I chose different people this time to talk than usually talk because we know what Ralph is going to say. He's going to laugh and explode and say, it's wonderful. It just fills me up. I thought it'd never get better, but it does. And the same with Mark, who is now far more expressive than he used to be. He used to be, it's the same, but now his heart is in it. Much better. And Mohammed, come to us sometime with your picture so that we see who you're like and join us. And Mari, please come back. I'm going to go now because I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm inviting you all to come back to satsang on Wednesday at 10 a.m. or next Sunday again at 11. And throw a kiss at Stevie's butterfly, who needs it, who is beginning to eat. Maybe we can even fix its wings. I love you all. I really do. I'm not bullshitting you. I feel a close affinity on a heart level with everybody here. Bye-bye.